Biden is assuring us that he's going to run again in 2024, but do people actually want him to? No. Now, you've known this for some time, but it's getting real bad. Roughly 64% of Democratic voters polled say they believe the party should nominate a different candidate for president. 64% means a lot of people who supported Joe Biden, who voted for Joe Biden, who might have even supported him in the primary at this point, are changing it up. But that number, as shocking as it is, the 64%, when you look at young voters, dear God, 94% of those aged 18 to 29 say they would prefer a new candidate.
Damn.
That is, I would love to sit down with the remaining 6%. And I feel like we could probably fit them in like one stadium. Why? What is it about you that you prefer Biden? But anyway, no, that is the future of the party. If the party has a future, that's its future. They don't want Biden, Francesca, and the Democratic Party seems dead set on providing Biden. They've tried to convince people that he's the only one that can beat Trump because he squeaked out an incredibly narrow win in a few key states. And if you bring up the possibility that we could get someone, I don't know, someone younger, someone more representative, someone more in step with the Democratic mainstream on policy, someone who believes that the president has an obligation to do literally anything, particularly in the face of this anti-democratic fascist movement that we're facing, then you're the problem, Francesca.
I mean, it makes total sense. Then that 94% it stings, but I think it makes absolute sense. You look at why people came to the polls in 2020. It was off the back of a massive uprising around police brutality, around the murder of George Floyd. None of that has been addressed by this president at all. The George Floyd Justice and Policing Act has not been able to pass. There's been deadlock. There's been no effort on an executive level to intercept that or cut into that. Look at student debt, look at climate change, look at the issues that young folks take the streets for. Look now at reproductive rights and all the young women who are on the front lines of this struggle. No, he's not speaking to any of them. So you're absolutely, that 94%, man, you earned that, Biden. He absolutely earned that. And so look, I do think that it is telling right now, and it is also telling that like that doesn't mean that folks aren't gonna come out to the polls and sort of, eat whatever mush you give them. But absolutely, it is a wake-up call. And I will also say, I would like a follow-up question about Kamala Harris, because the vice president attached to this president is not looking good. If the whole goal was to, position her to succeed him, that is not happening. She has been given a very short leash and she like ties herself in knots with it even when she has it. There is nothing about her that steps out. There's nothing about her that shows any leadership whatsoever. So the whole thing.
Yeah. No, continue.
The last thing I'm gonna say is it's BS to put this only on young voters and only on Democratic voters. The people inside the White House, the people in his own administration, the advisors, folks who've been studying this and looking at this, who want him to do better, they're saying the same thing. What are we doing? This is bad.
Exactly. Yeah. No, they're not interested. And I've seen the beginning of these articles of like, well, okay, nobody wants him, but nobody else is stepping up in the party. Well, is it possible that you're just not willing to acknowledge those who are stepping up? And I understand the game that we play is, well, who could it possibly be if not the incumbent president? Well, obviously the vice president. Why? What, doesn't she have to have done something? No. And then I don't know, like which governor looks the most like Biden 30 years ago? That's the game that they play. Well, if you look in our comments, there are people who are stepping up, and they may not be governors, but a lot of people, like there's always a lot of conversation around Katie Porter, interestingly. But Nina Turner, AOC, there are others in theory that could run. Some people are saying Elizabeth Warren. There are other people in the country that might have a chance. And there's like, Francesca's right. Many of these people might still end up voting, but how enthusiastic are they gonna be to vote, to raise money, to phone bank, to knock on doors, to talk to their friends, to get them to vote? Maybe, and also we know what his best is, Biden. He gave us whatever he had for this past year and a half, and it's effectively nothing. You think that an older Biden is going to be more vigorous, more active?
I'm so done with the Democratic establishment pushing these candidates. We had Clinton foisted on us. We had Biden foisted on us. We had former President Obama making calls in the dead of night, telling everyone to fold and get behind Biden or else. How did that work out for you, bro? Like, how is it going? And I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. And like, yes, Bernie would have won. Absolutely, Bernie would have won. But the machine wants safe. And sadly, we don't have time to so-called play it safe. And safe, honestly, is just safe for corporations. Let's be real about what safe means. So for the love of God, can we actually have someone who runs on bold ideas, who can fight? They don't even need to have the politics of Sanders. Even Klobuchar has more fight in her. Even Buttigieg has more fight in him. Like honestly, it was the worst selection, and everybody knows it.